Hey everybody, it's Edwardo here with your game review and talent pool preview. And let me just tell you what a finish. I'm almost shaking, guys. I mean, seriously. Look at these final scores. My God! It came down to point zero 0.07 points. And let me tell you why I'm so kind of shook, honestly, at this result. Because here, just to give you a peek behind the curtain, this is how I go about scoring these call sheets. I start going left to right, Rotten Tomatoes critic scores, and I go down each one, finding the appropriate page and just manually entering the numbers, right? And same thing. And once I finish Rotten Tomatoes, then I go over to IMDb, because IMDb actually, if you take a look at it, IMDb actually sometimes has a Metacritic score embedded, so it's two for one. But if I want to make absolutely sure, I'll definitely click through and get a deeper number. Blah blah. Anyways, so I went through the. So I started going on through IMDb, and when I got to about here, Never Have I Ever, which, despite its late Sunday night, early Monday morning debut, registered a 7.8 on the user score, and it's gotten rave reviews so far. See, now sometimes now this is a per example when I would just kind of definitely double check with Metacritic to see what the Metacritic score is. But anyways, Metacritic score 82. After I entered in the IMDb user score, and this number jumped to be our top scoring program of the weekend. Druzad took the lead, and by such a small differential. I honestly did not know what was going to happen once we got to Penny Dreadful. Actually no. So Druzad got close here. He took the lead on Penny Dreadful, because Penny Dreadful actually registered a user score in IMDb. And even though Rotten Tomatoes audiences hated it, apparently IMDb loved it. Actually, let's see how many people they got for their sample. 383 people on IMDb, liked it enough to give Druzad the lead. And then we're here, the numbers barely changed, and we have a champion. Give it up. One wins the very first week of real money play. Congratulations, Druzad. $35 to you. Oh, man, Henry G, their own, out by 0.07 points. I mean, this is why we have to start filling out our tiebreakers, y'all. This very easily could have been tied. Let's go into our call sheets real quick and reveal some of the strategy, what went behind it. Now, this is the one that I called the Noah's Ark. Everything came in 2 by 2. Pair of Bad Education, pair of Defending Jacob, pair of Extraction, pair of Penny Dreadful, pair of Never Have I Ever, and what do I know? This is me moonwalking away from my previous position. Turns out it was brilliant, because he nailed it. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cast members, 6 casts who scored over 100 points, just basic. And another key part of the strategy is that this is a max headliner call sheet. This is a max head call sheet, because he had as many headliners as you could stick in there, which is 8, because you must have at least one co-star and one day player. So he maxed out on headliners, getting that extra 40% bonus point value in headliners, and it worked out wonderfully for Druzad, our boy Julian. Well done. 1,286.48 points. Now a DraftStream record. And just off the pace, the Roan, another max headliner call sheet. Well done. I mean, headliners are important, are great where you can afford it. And the difference here, tragedy, is the Quibi show floored. Now, there's always been a risk, mind you, a cheap risk, but a risk nonetheless, because what happened with Floored is that even though it debuted, or because it debuted on technically Monday, late Sunday, because Quibi, this is our first Quibi program, and It's a fledgling streaming platform, quick bites. Episodes are supposed to be, under 20 minutes or less, whatever, designed to view on your phone. It's not being reviewed heavily, the Quibi shows, and apparently it's not being viewed at all. Check out this. This had a full default score. Actually, I think the first full default score we've had. Just, bold across the board, and it hurt it. Because let's say he had squeezed in, let's say, what was it, Matchmaker Mysteries? He probably could have afforded, a day play or something for Matchmaker Mysteries, or Dying for Motherhood. Actually, Dying for Motherhood is a good example. See, the lowest score the entire weekend was floored because it was default. Everything else got a score of some sort somewhere, and that cost him. If he had Matchmaker Mysteries, he wins by 10 points. Or 8 points. If he gets, what was it, Dying for Motherhood, he wins by like 5 points, 4 points. So Quibi, I don't know. I'm not saying we won't include them in the future, but definitely it being on Quibi and definitely it being released Monday night or Sunday night, Monday morning, definitely played into it. But then you look at Never Have I Ever, a Netflix show, bigger platform, but it was released just 12 hours ago, 13 hours ago, and it was fully reviewed and fully scored. Look at that, 87 Rotten Tomatoes audience score, 7.8 IMDb user score. How many people will actually watch that on IMDb or registered to score via IMDb? 214 people registered to score via IMDb. So it's possible. So I like the suspense. I like the potential of these down to the wire late Sunday night debuts. Adds a little element of excitement to the game. Definitely gives you a sweat because going to this weekend, or going into Sunday night, the Roan was, I would say, fairly comfortably ahead, even though we had some debuts to come. Ring Balls got third. Ring Balls, I know, is kicking himself. He actually put on a call sheet that had 11 cast members instead of 10, so he had to take one off. That might have been the difference. He'll actually be on the podcast. Fingers crossed. He'll be on the podcast, recording with me Tuesday, airing on Wednesday, and we'll maybe discuss his call sheet some. Moses Cone, Cinema Draft Advisor, Anton, not a bad debut outing. Jaybird, well, you know what do I know? I made this damn game, and I still couldn't beat you, Jaybird, so what else is new? Jaybird, one of my poker buddies, he was easily the big money winner when we were putting Cinema Draft through a similar spreadsheet type test game back before we even created a site. And then last week's winner, Gamble 24x7. Let's see what happened there. He was last week's winner, the all-time Cinema Draft money leader on the site proper. And it looks like it just, I mean, you know what? This is a case where leaning. Well, no, he only had 2 Beastie Boys. Extraction was okay. This is another Noah's Ark, but with different results. What he was missing, apparently, was Never Have I Ever. That seemed to be the crucial one. Not only was it the point leader of the weekend, but if you had it as a headliner too, whew, man, that 40% bonus really comes into play. So he was missing that. And Bad Education, that's what it was. Bad Education, I think, overperformed even to my estimates. We used to know what property we had in our hands. I mean, we had Star Wattage, which you sometimes get on HBO, even for a Saturday debut movie. But you had Star Power, Hugh Jackman, Allison Janney. You had a really good movie. I watched it. I loved it. I think I gave it a 9. A very compelling tale based off of real-life scandal involving funds in a school district on a sleepy Long Island town, and people just really responded to it. More so on Rotten Tomatoes than on IMDb. I mean, look at these hating-ass critics. I mean, what do you want? 79, actually 79, or 82 is the highest, which is wild because allegedly the default score, and this is research. This is, historically what their average critical scores are on Metacritic is usually higher, but this week it just seems like they were hating. Just hating. 79, 82. 82 is their top score. Over here we have hundreds. We have 2 other 90s. So anyways, so not having bad education and not having exposure to Never Have I Ever is really what caused last week's champion to stumble far. And Brown Baby Mom, what can we say? Just not a strong call sheet. Where did I fall? Let's take a look at my call sheet real quick. I mean, why not? So I didn't max out on headliners. Might have been my mistake, but I also did over-index on the Beastie Boys, and it was fine. Beastie Boys. I mean, look at these scores, especially for my 2 headliners. Those scores are fine, but one thing you want to keep in mind as we play this game is the concept of value. Look at this. Look at how much he got per $1,000 in budget value. 13.83 points per budget. So not only did he spend less, which, like I mentioned before, you probably want to spend within 5%, 6% of your overall budget. But not only did he spend less, but he got more bang for his buck. And even Ring Balls here, another situation, he got pretty good bang for his buck. And me, it's just not enough. 12.19 wasn't going to get it done this weekend. So really interesting to see how he got his value. And I didn't have enough exposure to, I don't think I've had enough exposure to Never Have I Ever. I was scared. Even though I put it on there as a test, I was scared to take my own test. It was a late release. I didn't think we'd get enough scores in for it. I was wrong. Where else did I falter? Dying for Motherhood? I mean, it wasn't bad. Using a headliner was definitely the way to go if you were going to expose yourself to Dying for Motherhood. I had 1 bad education, but I think I shot my load on Beastie Boys. I mean, if you get 3 Beastie Boys in there, that's, I don't know, what is that, like $50,000 right there? I mean, half your salary is gone in 3 members, 3 casts. So I don't know. Something to keep in mind as we move. Here's where I went wrong too. I over-indexed on documentaries. So scrap everything we learned last week. It's not all about documentaries. I'm gonna have to have a large think in not this week's player pool or talent pool, but next week's talent pool, and just figuring out where the true value in this game lies. Is it? We can't say it's just blanket documentaries. We can't just say, because this did well, but for its price is the highest salaried program on the slate. It was outperformed. I mean, look at the tremendous value you got at Never Have I Ever. I mean, 111.5. I mean, dollar per dollar, you're getting great value out of that. So, lessons learned. All right, so let's move on to next week's call sheets and talent pool. All right, so this is what we're looking at. So we got 10 new ones, 10 hot ones. And overall, so this week we actually have no documentaries. So our North Star is going to be name recognition and semi-star power. I mean, star power for TV as far as that goes. And by that, I mean Hollywood. This is produced by Ryan Murphy, created by Ryan Murphy, part of his monumental Netflix deal. I mean, that was a $250 million Netflix deal or whatever. His first show put out through the Netflix deal was a show called The Politician. And so, I enjoy The Politician. Takes a little while to get into it, but I enjoyed it. And so I used that as kind of like my baseline. So see, I had a 7.5 rating over 12,000 user ratings on IMDb. So it was pretty popular. So I kind of used that as my guiding star in setting the salaries this week. And also, Ryan Murphy is a bit of a name. I mean, even if you don't know him by name, you've seen his stuff. He did American Crime Story, the OJ thing, American Horror Stories. Those were all his. Glee really came to fame with Glee. I mean, he's worked a lot, done a lot, and definitely earned his stripes. So So in the 18,000 down to 17,300 is Hollywood. I think the second highest one was Upload, and this is coming to us from, I always forget his name. Greg Daniels. There we go. Guy who co-created The Office. Check out some of Greg Daniels' stats real quick. About a guy who I guess gets uploaded into like some AI upon his death, so he can live forever. All right, sounds cool. But yeah, so The Office. He's working on Space Force coming out later on next month in May, which sounds hilarious. The Office, or actually, I'm not sure if he co-created, but definitely worked in The Office. Definitely worked on Parks and Rec, and he created King of the Hill. There you go. He created King of the Hill. So, and he worked on The Simpsons. So the guy's got bona fides as days long. I have a good feeling about Upload. I haven't seen too many trailers, but you know his work. You know and trust his works. That's why 10,600, 10,300 for the two headliners there. What else stands out? Trying. Now, Apple TV Plus. It's British. Rafe Spall is like one of those faces you've seen, even if you don't know him by name. Not so familiar with Esther Smith. But it's very British, but it's on Apple TV Plus. Right so far, Apple TV's taste has been pretty spot on, pretty impeccable. I'm actually watching this one show called Home Before Dark. It's ostensibly it's generated for families and what have you, but look at this rating, 7.6. It's a good show. I enjoy it. She's adorable and plucky. It's basically a 9-year-old girl acts as like a reporter, like a legitimate reporter, to track down this kind of abduction mystery thing. It's a really good show, and like a lot of Apple TV Plus stuff, it's getting pretty highly rated. Even from this past week, Defending Jacob. Gave you an 8.5. Once again, Apple TV, they seem to have really good taste so far. I enjoyed the morning show. I thought it was great. It won Emmys and stuff. So keep that in mind as you're constructing your call sheets this week. Oop, that's last week. We've got Apple TV Plus show, a video on demand movie, a couple of Netflix miniseries. I was actually surprised to find out that Hollywood was a miniseries. I thought it might have been like, the beachhead of yet another Ryan Murphy series, but I guess it's just a miniseries. And there's no documentaries. Let that be your guide. Council of Dads, I'm not feeling too great about, mostly because it was one of those shows they kind of trotted out earlier in the year as like a special to kind of test it out. It didn't quite gain a ton of steam. It feels like it's been sitting on the shelf for a while, so never really sparks confidence in a show if they're just willing to shelve it for a while. And now we're on quarantine. I'm not sure if they're dumping it, but they need content, so they're trotting it out. 6.1, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. The Chernobyl line, not great, not terrible. And Betty was an obscure one from HBO. I think it's definitely going to hit counterculture, kind of skateboarding counterculture pretty hard. But I don't know how widely seen it's going to be. Looks like it's only be 6 episodes, kind of a limited series, kind of Brit Ficient style, like BBC style. So I don't know. I'll have to do some more research. We'll see how the week unfolds if I hear anything more floating out about it. But it seems pretty obscure, and HBO is not promoting it heavily at all. And All Day and a Night. Jeffrey Wright, star-studded a little bit. Yahya Abdul-Mateen, a.k.a. of Watchmen fame, a.k.a. Dr. Manhattan. I saw a trailer for this. I'm going to watch it because I love Jeffrey Wright. I love Regina Taylor. Ashton Sanders is on the come up as well. It's got a very strong, almost entirely black cast. I'm here for that. But the trailer did not seem terribly interesting to me. Seems like something that honestly they could have written and put back in the 90s with black people dealing with crime and murder type problems. But I'm gonna try to keep an open mind. I'm gonna watch it. Even the key art, Born Gangster Repeat. not entirely my cup of tea, but we'll check it out. All right, so that is your call sheet review, your game review, and talent pool preview. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks for playing, everybody. And those of you who I owe money, email me your PayPal addresses, and we'll get that out right to you. Thanks, everybody. See you Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time.